Guys, I'm finally back for another video. It's like really bright in here. It's like absolutely freezing, but the sun is like really shining, and I can't seem to like find an angle where like, you know, my face isn't like really white. So apologies for that if I look like, you know, I've got like light shining in my face, but just blame the sun. And I can't bother to shut my curtains because I'm too lazy to get up and do that. So yeah, I'm finally back for a video. I know it's been like well over a week since you know, my last actual wrestling one. Thank you to all of you who like commented and stuff on my Q&A video. I was surprised that I got like so many views, like that they got like the same kind of amount of views that my wrestling videos do, which is obviously quite surprising really, because obviously I don't think my last one did. But this one was, you know, yeah, well received by people. So obviously I'll keep trying to do one of those once a month. Obviously I'll let you know when I'm planning to do one, so you can get your questions in. But if you guys just keep sending your questions in anyway, whenever, and obviously I'll save them and then use them in the video, so just keep doing that, that's fine. So I hope you guys all had like a really good week stuff while I've been away. My holiday was nice, just had a really lazy week. Just spent mainly watching films, and yeah, that was pretty much it really. I've actually seen all of the Die Hard films now, because Liam's like obsessed with Die Hard, and for ages he's like, oh, you have to watch them. And I'm like, really? But I actually did watch them all, and they're actually not bad. So yeah, I will change my, you know, the type of films that I watch, you know, providing they're like decent. Never ever, if you haven't seen it yet, watch Paranormal Activity. It's like the worst film. Well, yeah, possibly like the worst film I've ever seen in my life. It was so boring. Like literally, it got to like 5 minutes from the end, and Liam was like, "It's gonna get better soon." And I was like, "Liam, there's like 5 minutes left." It was awful. We both were like, "This is like a disaster." So never ever watch Paranormal Activity. Anyway, supposed to be talking about wrestling, not films and stuff. What has happened to WWE in like, you know, like the last like 2 weeks since I've been away? I thought, oh, right, I'll come back and, you know, I'll watch a load of wrestling. It'll be really awesome. It was awful. Seriously, this week's episode of Raw was just diabolical, absolutely awful, horrendous. I don't even really want to talk about it. But like last week, right? Obviously, I didn't watch last week's SmackDown, did I? So I watched that one. Obviously, the one kind of following, you know, the whole walkout. And I was like, oh, this isn't too bad, you know, because you had all the Raw guys on there, you know, saying that, you know, that while Triple H was in charge, they weren't going to go back to Raw, and it was just going to be, they weren't going to show up. That was pretty much it. So you thought, okay, fine. Big Show came back. Not that amazing. As you know, I'm not the world's biggest Big Show fan, but I suppose, you know, yeah, the crowd seemed to, you know, be into his return and everything, and obviously I suppose someone who's actually a bit of competition for Mark Henry, but it's going to be a pretty dull feud, I think. Could be wrong though. So that was pretty much that. That was the SmackDown. So then we came on to Raw, and I thought, okay, this could be quite good. So obviously, you know, at the start of the show, there's nothing, you know, there's no commentators, it's just like silence, there's no cameramen, obviously apart from like the ones on the outside, which they always have, but you know, they have to have something, because that would be a fail of a show with no cameras at all. You know, so Triple H comes out, and he's like, sorry people, you know, there's like no, I think I actually wrote it down. Why am I like not actually looking at my notes? Yeah, so Triple H comes out and, you know, explains the situation. So basically, the wrestlers will come back if he quits, but he says he's not going to do that. So then John Cena, Sheamus, and CM Punk will come out, and they say, you know, it's stupid, they shouldn't be walking out of the company, so they say that they're with Triple H. So the start of the show was actually good, because Triple H is like, right then, well I guess, you know, we'll have to do the show with 4 people. I'll be the referee, CM Punk, you be the ring announcer, bell ringer, and commentator, and Cena and Sheamus, you can have a match. And I was like, this is going to be so cool, CM Punk on commentary. You know, I was liking it at the start, when there was like, you know, just the 4 of them. So then Vince McMahon comes out, and I'm like, oh, okay. It's so obvious what he was going to do when he's like, oh, you know, this situation's bad, we're relieving you of your duties. There's been a new interim general manager, and you're like, don't say John Laurinaitis, don't say John Laurinaitis, and it's John Laurinaitis, and you're like, ugh, it's like the worst thing ever. Why do I always get text messages, seriously, during my videos? Anyway, interruption there. So I was like, that sucks, that really sucked, and then everyone came back, and it was just like a boring show from then on, to be honest. You know, the matches weren't really that amazing. John Laurinaitis then gets JR in the ring and fires him, you know, because he walked out on Triple H when Triple H had like reinstated him, and it was like, okay, that was weird. And then but then the only good thing that actually comes out of that was that he rehired Miz and Truth, obviously, because I like the Miz and R-Truth and they're awesome. But you know, it was just pretty awful. The start segment was good, and then John Laurinaitis came in charge, and I was like, that's bad. SmackDown, they had like the Battle Royal, which Randy Orton won, which I was a bit like surprised that Orton won. I thought they would have gone for somebody else. I was rooting for Miz, but obviously Orton eliminated him and won. And obviously, you knew that he wasn't going to win the title, because very rare do you get title changes on Raw and SmackDown. This whole Sin Cara, I'm just going to like randomly talk about little things. The Sin Cara thing, I'm not liking. I think it's boring. I don't know what everyone else thinks, but it's a pretty dull feud. You know, Sin Cara, like this week, beat up Sin Cara 2 beat up Sin Cara 1 and took his mask, so he was wearing his own like trousers and stuff, and then Sin Cara 1's mask, and it was like, what? I just wish they'd get that feud over and done with, because it's pretty boring. nothing else really happened. And then this week's Raw, obviously it was in Mexico, you know, so I thought, okay, they're going to make, you know, like a big deal of, like, Del Rio and stuff, but, you know, the crowd didn't really give him much of a reaction, to be honest. When he came out to face, like, you know, Cena got, like, an amazing reaction, Del Rio, like, really didn't. You know, so, yeah, so at the very start, John Laurinaitis says he rehires JR and apologises for firing him, and it's like, well, what was the whole point in that, seriously? And makes a match between Michael Cole, like, yeah, so then there's a tag match, so it's Michael Cole and Del Rio against JR and John Cena, and I'm like, oh, Michael Cole wrestling, thought that was never, ever going to happen again, but, you know, that was that. Then there was, like, a 6-man tag, it was Randy Orton, John Morrison and Sheamus against Mark Henry, Christian and Cody Rhodes. Why they just randomly got John Morrison in there? He's, like, not feuding with any of them. Wouldn't it have made more sense to have the Big Show? Because, you know, he's actually facing Mark Henry at Vengeance. I'll get on to Vengeance after this, because I'll need to rant about that as well. I'm just talking about how awful this was. But then it only ends up being Mark Henry and John Morrison left in the ring, because Orton and Rhodes go off and fight, and then Christian and Sheamus go off and fight, you know. And but the only good thing about that was, I have to say, the World's Strongest Man was pretty impressive, because I think John Morrison was, like, running off the ropes, and was going to do a move, but Henry kind of, you know, like, pushed him into the air, and then actually, like, caught over and hit the slam, and that was quite nice looking. So that was that. That was, like, the only good thing about that, really. Eve beat Natalya, like, you know, really easily, you know, because, like, Natalya was, like, beating her for, like, ages, and then all of a sudden she hits a move and hits a moonsault, and it's like, what? But, you know, Divas matches for you. And then we've got CM Punk against The Miz. Triple H was on CM Punk's side, and obviously Truth was with The Miz. But then John Laurinaitis comes out in the middle and, like, says that Triple H has to leave because he's got, I'm sure it's a problem with his, looks like it says immigration papers, but that can't be right. I don't know what it was, something to do with visas or anything, and makes him leave, and it's just like, this is getting lame. I just really do not like John Laurinaitis, and just the whole kind of story is getting really lame. But Pete? CM Punk does manage to get the win, even though, you know, Triple H has left, but Miz and R-Truth beat down, like, do a beat down on him afterwards before the refs stop it. Zack Ryder beats Jack Swagger. You know, okay, yeah, I really like Zack Ryder, but that was a bit weird that he won, like, so easily, and they just seem to be booking people really strange at the moment. And then Mason Ryan comes out to say Zack Ryder, and actually gets on the mic, and I'm like, what? Mason Ryan can actually talk, but, you know, it was pretty dull anyway, it wasn't the best speech. And then, Mason, like, faces Dolph Ziggler, but gets, like, disqualified. It was just a weird Raw, honestly. And then the main event was Alberto Del Rio, Michael Cole versus John Cena and JR. It was rubbish. Del Rio, like, tags Michael Cole in when Cena's about to hit the attitude adjustment on him. So then Michael Cole gets attitude adjustment and JR hits the ankle lock on him for the win. And it's like, rubbish. And then obviously they decided that whoever won that match would make the stipulation for the match between Cena and Del Rio at Vengeance. And John Cena is there going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and you're like, okay, last man standing. And then he goes on this little speech, and he's like, oh, you just need to be clever to understand why I'm counting to 10. I'm like, yeah, we know, last man standing. And then he's like, I pick last man standing. It's like, yeah, you could have just said that instead of your stupid 10 count. Sorry, ranting. So yeah, he picks the last man standing stipulation for Vengeance. But then after the match, the crowd was, like, really, like, booing him when he, like, takes out Del Rio. So it's weird. They cheer him, you know, to start with, and then they don't. Weird. But no, it was just a really boring Raw. That probably didn't sound boring from the way I talked about it, but it honestly was. I've read a lot of reviews of it online, and everyone just said it's awful. It honestly was. So yeah, disappointed. What has happened to wrestling in, you know, like, the 2 weeks that I, like, you know, have not been here for? But yeah, it's basically John Laurinaitis' fault. I'm just going to blame him. Obviously, they're going to have to, they will eventually get Triple H back, or something, because I know he's only meant to be interim. If he actually stays as general manager for ages, that's going to be awful, because his voice just makes me want to, you know, like, throw my TV out the window every week. But yeah, and I'm going to rant about Vengeance as well. Vengeance has got to be one of the most poorly booked. You know, I said Hell in a Cell was bad, because it was only, like, 2 weeks. This one's been slightly longer, but it's just been, like, you know, rubbish, really. They've hardly done any kind of build. Like, Cena and Del Rio, they, like, announced it, I think it was last week. There was, like, no reaction whatsoever. Nobody cares. Everyone is bored of, you know, Del Rio and Cena, like, you know, kind of feuding together. Fair enough. If they did Del Rio versus Punk, because they had that match was it last week on Raw or something? I don't know when it was. But, you know, that wasn't actually too bad, and people seem to be more into it. But Cena and Del Rio is just lame. Who really wants to see them fight again? And probably because Cena's actually going to win again, that would be awful, because generally Cena always wins in last man standing matches and stuff like that. And to be fair, I don't like the gimmick matches like last man standing and I Quit. I Quit I hate, because they're so rubbish, because you never really get like a fair winner, to be fair. Everyone cheats, you know, like they did with Miz and Cena last time, and like way back with like Rock and like, you know, Mankind. It's a really stupid like gimmick to have, to be honest. I hate it, just because of the way Cena was in the last one. You know, he's supposed to be like in loads of pain, and he's just, you know, trying to make jokes while he's like saying no, I won't quit. I'm in a really negative mood today, aren't I? You know, and like last man standings, I can't really remember like the last time there was like a decent last man standing. It's just they can't really do a lot now with this whole PG thing. It used to work when they used to be able to really, you know, like lay into each other with like chairs and stuff and blood and whatnot, but now it's just a bit like rubbish. So I'm ranting about that. Mark Henry versus Big Show, I couldn't care less about, honestly. I'm so glad this pay-per-view's on Sky Sports, because if I had to pay for this, I'd be really unimpressed. But, you know, something got really dark in here. Sun's gone. But yeah, so yeah, Mark Henry and Big Show, I'm really not that interested in. If Big Show wins, I'll cry. If Mark Henry stays champion for, like, a lot more time, I'll also cry. So either way, I don't really care who wins this one. Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton, this one could be a good match, but they haven't really had a proper build. Cody's just been kind of coming out and attacking Orton, and then he like bagged him like last week on Raw, and that's, you know, pretty much been it. Christian and Sheamus, I can understand they've been feuding for I'm sure that's done so again. At least I think it is anyway. They've been like feuding again for a while, so that's not so bad. I'm just, you know, starting to lose interest in it a little bit. I'm glad that, you know, it's not Beth versus Kelly match number 100, it's Beth versus Eve. So at least it's slightly different. And Beth and Eve haven't actually faced each other yet, as far as I know, because I always say, I hate it when they've already faced each other loads of time before, like, you know, the show, because obviously after, like, or just building up to it, really, like, Kelly's obviously faced Beth since she lost the title, like, a couple of times, and, you know, and it's just boring. You think, well, we've seen this match 100 times, what makes it different if it's on pay-per-view? I'm so sorry for being so negative, guys. I will be happy in my next video, hopefully. You know, so at least that's fairly different. Obviously, Eve's not like the world's greatest wrestler, but at least it's not Beth versus Kelly, like I said, for the 100th time. Who else have we got? Oh, we've got the tag team title matches, Air Boom versus Dolph Ziggler and Jack Swagger. I just don't really like Dolph and Swagger as a team. Kind of like boring, so I was hoping like, you know, Miz and Truth might like take over, but obviously they're involved in the main event kind of scene at the moment anyway. And also we've got the tag team match, which is CM Punk and Triple H versus The Miz and R-Truth. That one should be good, just because, you know, Punk's good, Triple H is a good wrestler, so is Miz and, like, Truth, they're awesome as well. So that's probably the match, oh, pardon me, sorry. Well, that's probably the match that I'm most looking forward to. If I've forgotten anything, then forgive me, but it's just probably one of the most dullest cards on a pay-per-view that I've, like, seen for a while. And, like, you know, to have a pay-per-view that I really don't care about is rare. I can normally kind of get, like, quite interested in at least the main events, but this one is just going to be pretty dull. It'll probably turn out to be like pay-per-view of the year, and I absolutely love it. But at the moment, I'm really not looking forward to it. So yeah, why has it suddenly got so dark? I can't even see the screen anymore. Apparently you can still actually see. But yeah, anyway, so I'm going to go because I've been ranting at you guys so much, and I'm really sorry for that. But yeah, I bought Evanescence's new album on Monday, because it came out last week while I was away, and they didn't have it in the Tesco at Liam's? They didn't have it at the Tesco where Liam lives, so I bought it this week, and it's really awesome. It's like 3 weeks until I go and see them now, so yeah, I'm really excited. I haven't been to a gig for ages. The last gig I went to was like Bowling for Soup in 2009, and that was like forever ago, so I'm very much looking forward to this. Anyway, I'm going to go. So thanks for watching this video. Please comment, you know, like you normally do. Help me to get some. I need like one more subscriber, and I'm at 600. I'm very excited because, you know, it seems like not that long ago I was doing my video saying yay 300. So to be fair, that's not bad. I know like I said, I'm not one of these people that, you know, gets like amazing loads of subscribers, and I'm not really like, you know, looking to be, you know, the most popular person on YouTube. You know, because I just like, you know, that I've got like a group of subscribers who I know will always comment and who I can like, you know, interact with and talk easily, and I'm not like one that gets like a lot of negative. There's a few people who comment on my videos with stupid comments. I had to block a whole load of people a while back, but on the whole, you guys are really awesome. So yeah, I'm going to stop. I really am stopping talking now because it's getting darker and darker in here, and that's a bit weird. Anyway, thanks for watching this video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!